Well, welcome back to CyberGPT Pulse podcast. Today we are diving into the hot topic that's been stirring up quite a bit controversy in the tech world. That's Microsoft's new recall feature. So I'm your host Mohammad Ilyas.
I'm your co-host Amir. So yeah, this new recall feature, which has been going on from past couple of weeks, given the potential impact on productivity as well as security, is quite critical.
Right. Absolutely. So for our listeners who might not be familiar, so can you explain what the recall feature is?
Yeah, so it's an interesting one actually. So the recall is a new feature integrating uh, Copilot and PC, essentially having periodic screenshots of different activities of device as per se. So we are talking a few seconds of searchable, a few seconds of screenshot which can create a searchable history and having the past activity stored from browsing history to when you have opened a certain document and these specific interaction with application.
Well, got it. So seems like Microsoft recall feature sounds quite innovative for tracking device activities, though. So that's great. So but there are some significant security concerns, right? So can you shed some light on that aspect?
Yep, exactly, bang on. So you have put on the main concern there. So the main concern or consideration is uh, the security implication is quite serious. The biggest concern, these screenshots could contain sensitive information of a user activity, including the password and financial data, which might be put in some website, or maybe it's somewhere by copy paste. Specifically, maybe some credential has been copy pasted in some file and then deleted, but these screenshot will be still keeping those. So although Microsoft has stated that they will be only storing them on local and encrypted, but the hacker actually gain some access into the system, and they have found out that they can potentially retrieve this and misuse the data. And yeah, these are not actually encrypted when they are stored in local storage. So without even having the admin privileges, the attack was possible, and this attack actually was able to and was able to manipulate some sensor read by the laser printer, and which require a longer preparation. Although, but this because involves two different privilege escalation, the from where first vulnerability in the system need to be found, and then that exploitation leads to the next one.
Well, that's pretty alarming, huh? So understanding these risks is crucial for users and organizations, considering the use of Microsoft's recall feature. So by implementing robust security measures and staying informed about potential vulnerabilities are, I think, are the key steps in mitigating these risks. Well, so what make this feature particularly vulnerable to exploitation?
So the vulnerability mainly arises from a lack of content moderation, um, because the system doesn't differentiate between sensitive and non-sensitive data, and that's the main essence of data security there. So this user who logs into a bank account, enters his data, enters his password, credentials, so can be captured by the call feature into screenshot, and these screenshots are additionally, if malware been infected in the device or is already there, it could potentially access the recall database and get the screenshot of these captured password files. So it is in a sense a very critical finding.
Well, I see. So in essence, so it's like having a keylogger, right? So that's built into the
Yeah.
system. So well, it's a
Yep.
capturing a lot more than just keystrokes.
Yeah. So uh, as the Microsoft CEO was clearly mentioning in the advertisement, that this will be a very localized function, and we'll be storing everything in the local function and won't be connected to the Microsoft features where the data will be collected into the Microsoft server. But doesn't matter, once the once this these once a localized attack is being started, the hacker doesn't need to have an admin privileges, and that is in essence how is a very big problem, because without an admin privilege, these screenshots are available to the hacker and to the exploiter, and they can exploit any vulnerability to gain access into local storage and then retrieve these screenshots and extract sensitive data from there. So the main problem is that the main database is stored locally in the hard drive, and that hard drive is accessible even remotely. And if that remote connection is established from SSH or some certain SCP connection due to the open port available, maybe a telnet too. So these data can be easily captured and retrieved.
Right. So, what about the measures Microsoft has put in place to protect this data? So, are they sufficient enough? Do they or do they have to take any extra extra measures to come over this vulnerability?
So for the start, they should encrypt these screenshot for sure.
Yeah.
They should have done that earlier. So, but yeah, this will be a very good step
Which is a good step, yeah.
This time in the currentization, I think they have already started to do it in the patches which are been coming out, and also with the segregation of basically content moderation. So what kind of data need to be have the screenshot or shouldn't, like the in private browsing shouldn't have these screenshot, although in private browsing is not private, we now know because of various revelations, the browser still your in private browsing data is being still stored by the browser, but at least for the user's sake, we don't require another application, which is right now the recall one, has the same functionality of capturing the screenshot with the user's activity with timeline and the whole content, whatever user is watching there. This is a very private intrusion into the user's life. And yeah, so these sessions shouldn't be there, as well as there should be some DRM protected materials, so that should be also out of the edge. And yeah, so basically these two things have encryption and stop having screenshot of sensitive data.
Well, given this concern, so what should users and organizations be doing to protect themselves?
So from organizational perspective, although they have to have the user policy updated for the users who will be using recall, and what should they be using, what should be their application activity whenever recall is been activated, as well as they have to also have the updation from the regular updates and recall on the devices wherever they are using, and educate the users about possible attacks, maybe phishing, maybe some other attacks, because of the leading data availability which is generated due to these additional screenshots. But also, apart from that, just like GenAI, organization need to take a proactive step where to apply GenAI, or where to apply recall similarly, and where not to. We don't have to have recall functionality enabled on each and every users in the on each and every employee's device. There should be some segregation of that based on the criticality of the user's activity in the company.
Great advice. So before we wrap up, so do you think this feature has any positive aspects?
Yeah, there are some for some personal use, especially for the non-sensitive data. It is incredibly convenient to have the benefit to just check out what was the timeline data, what was my previous user activity a year ago. Might help in various personal aspect, but for tasks that doesn't involve sensitive information, it certainly enhance productivity in these aspects. yeah, just like I think just like OneDrive memories, these can have your own application memories. Yeah, in that sense, it can be helpful.
Yeah, it's pretty much clear that while the recall feature offer some innovative benefits, the
Mm.
security implications can't be ignored. So as always, it's crucial to stay informed and cautious too.
Yep, definitely, and always. So that's the main target of security. Be aware of any new feature entail, and especially when it comes to the domain of data security and privacy.
Well, that's all for this week, and thanks for watching this episode, listeners. So the contact information is in the show notes. So if you have any questions or comments that you want us to discuss in the future, feel free to email us. So until next time, stay safe and secure and try your digital world. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Yep. Thank you, listener, and we will now onward try to be more bi-weekly than monthly. So yeah, that's will be your next videos will be coming shortly.